Now, this one's an interesting one. So as Bitcoin miners, obviously we need to pay attention to like how, you know, the legal status surrounding cryptography is being approached. And this one's weird. So Bitcoin miners were sued over cryptography patents in a US court case. 1 second. I think the cat dander got me. So after buying 32,000 BlackBerry patents, the Maliki Innovation sued Bitcoin miners, Marathon Digital, and Core Scientific over alleged use of its intellectual property. Maliki Innovations, a firm that acquired tens of thousands of patents from BlackBerry in 2023, has sued major Bitcoin mining firms, Marathon Digital and Core Scientific, for using the elliptic curve cryptography employed by the Bitcoin blockchain, which it claims it owns. So this is really interesting. So effectively, I believe the BlackBerry, that cryptography was utilized for their email, or was that used for instant messaging? That might have been instant messaging, right? So for those that are not in the know, because maybe you're not old enough, BlackBerry was a phone company prior to smartphones, and its kind of selling point was like being a cellular phone for business people that had access to email. And then obviously there was text messages. Prior to BlackBerry, text messages were essentially went over the telecommunications lines and therefore were subject to telecommunication fees, basically like your phone line fees. And what BlackBerry figured out was kind of the original instant messaging or text messaging that allowed you to send the text message effectively over the data connection. So what we would call 5G now, back then, obviously not that, but a data connection, as opposed to a telecommunications connection, which meant that they bypassed the telecommunication fees on the network. And that meant that if you bought a BlackBerry, you could send as many text messages effectively as you wanted without being charged. Now, as a part of that, they also had cryptography included in there. And to be clear, Snake wants me to say it's called pin to pin. So thank you for that. So, but basic understanding as far as like what was going on there. Then they also employed, obviously, cryptography. And the claim is essentially that the people that own the rights to the patent that Bitcoin's cryptography is based off of, they're somehow suing Marathon Digital and Core Scientific. This will be a big case because obviously it's going to impact Bitcoin as a whole. I don't know that this holds any water, but let's look at what it says. So the case is against them, follows the acquisition of 32,000 non-core patents from the communications company and former phone maker BlackBerry in 2023. Quote, this case centers around groundbreaking innovations in elliptic curve cryptography that years later were recognized and selected by the designers of Bitcoin, the filing states. So this is crazy because, you know, Core Scientific and Marathon are just utilizing mining hardware that is communicating with this cryptographic method, but it's not like they created that, right? Or are utilizing it. I don't know. This is a weird one to me. So the lawsuit claims that the defendants are using ECC-based cryptographic methods covered under the Maliki held patents to support their Bitcoin mining operations. So Aaron Brogan, founder and managing attorney at Brogan Law, told Cointelegraph it is unlikely that such lawsuits will hit most individual Bitcoin users, even if the patents are found to be valid. Quote, pursuing individuals is trickier because they are often judgment proof, which is lawyer jargon for broke. Miners, on the other hand, are wealthy targets that are worthy of a lawsuit, Brogan said. These entities will always tend to attract lawsuits because they have money and the patent bar can try to take it from them. If the plaintiffs prevail, they will be able to recover up to 6 years of lost royalties. The sum to which that translates is not easy to calculate. Such cases often result in secondary trial, but you can reasonably assume it would be a large sum, and it might cause these defendants to enter bankruptcy, Brogan added. Brogan also noted that winning the case would establish a favorable precedent for Maliki to use in pursuing cases against other miners in the United States. This in turn could have disastrous consequences for Bitcoin. Quote, if they chose to pursue that strategy, it might undermine the security of the Bitcoin network, end quote, he said. Cayman Islands-based crypto law lawyer Michael Bassina told Cointelegraph that it is unlikely to be what Maliki is going after. So-called patent trolls typically do not intend to have claims tested in court, but rather seek to extract a settlement, he noted. Still, Brogan argued that Maliki's is more likely to try to extract a fee until the patents expire rather than tank the entire industry. Nico Demchuk, head of legal at cryptocurrency compliance and forensics firm AMLBot, told Cointelegraph that it was unlikely. Maliki's claim appears not so strong if the asserted patents are expired or cover techniques that predate Bitcoin's ECC implementation. Even if some patents remain active, their scope is likely limited to specific implementation details, not the core ECC algorithms used in Bitcoin, Demchuk said. Still, nothing is certain, he added. To me, this sounds like a patent troll. It's really like, this is a lot of frustration. I have a ton of frustration with this, just our entire societal infrastructure, and how, to me, it seems like people doing, unethical, shady bullshit seem to make the most money in our society. And I think, like, becoming a middle-aged man, working really hard, going through all this for years and years, and just seeing, like, what I call, like, you have producers and parasites, right? You have people that produce and you have people that basically consume. Producers and consumers, to use the polite term, right? But like these parasitical consumers that just strip all of the value out of the working class. And this is just like one of those things that's extremely frustrating, that there doesn't, like, it's not like and I should say, like, obviously these are rich companies or whatever, so they're attacking the rich companies, but this kind of behavior where it's like, I haven't done anything. All I've done is buy this patent, and now I'm going to try to leverage it to get a settlement out of court to make money. It's just a scummy, crappy practice that pisses me off. And the fact that you're even able to do this, it's gross, dude. However, the outcome depends on the details. I don't think this will hold weight, though, to be clear. It's just the complete fact that somebody would even try to do this is frustrating to me, though. So he also highlighted that if infringement is shown, it still will not be over. He explained that a second issue will arise, being whether the miners, by using open source, are in fact infringing at all. This is not the first time that intellectual property-related lawsuits have targeted Bitcoin. The Bitcoin.org website was able to re-upload a copy of the Bitcoin white paper a little over a year ago after it was taken down by Craig Wright's unsuccessful court attempt to prove he is Satoshi Nakamoto, the protocol's pseudonymous creator. Wright has worked hard to claim ownership of key parts of the technology behind Bitcoin. In the 2 years preceding 2019, he had filed 114 blockchain-related patents, who obviously, Craig Wright's rightfully so earned the ire of the Bitcoin and wider crypto community from those kind of practices, right? So I think it is the way it is. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Show. If you would like to see more from this particular episode, take a look up here. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support me directly, you can go to sonofatech.locals.com and become a member. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday.